Oh shit, there was a PoE 2 announcement, right? We'll watch that shit. Let's go. I haven't watched that. There we go. Let's watch this. Is it on YouTube or do I have to go find the VOD on Twitch? Okay, I'm not really sure what order we have to watch it in, but we'll start with this one, the Third Edict announcement. Let's see what happens. Is RimWorld paused before I... Oh, there's an ad break right now. RimWorld is not paused. Let's go. Ads. Okay. You guys probably watched this already, so let me just... Oh, that's loud. So Sin
is our only chance to save humanity.
Wait, come again.
This weapon is our only chance to save humanity. We must invoke the Third Edict.
Okay. The Third Edict. That's fucking cool. Alright, what is this?
Karui! I have called you here to save our people. To save our way. Over the ages, we have known pain like no other. But we endured. And we became mighty. Now, outsiders dishonor our shores. And we have stood by, doing nothing. Hear my voice, ancestors. Show us your strength. Show us the true way. I understand.
Oh? Whoa! Ooh! Haha! The bird! Ooh! Ooh! Monkey! Ooh! Here. I'm gonna be honest. This is fucking cool. Look at that shit. Is that... Wow. Ooh.
The true Makuramakoi will rise.
Oh, boats. Well, that one's cool. Massive skill rework? Ooh. Wait, what? Wait, I didn't read all of it. 24 new bosses. Support jet overhaul? Oh, are they gonna make it? Ooh, okay. Are they gonna change how it works? Are you gonna be using more than one then, I guess? I think I heard something about that. I think I saw something on Twitter. Massive skill rework? That sounds amazing. Please let them share weapon types. Not all of them, just some of them where it makes sense. That would be so much cooler. That one looked massively. 40 lineage supports. What is that? "40 lineage support." I don't know what that is. Have I missed something? Did they say 150 new notables? Sprinting? Oh, let's go. New trade system? Is this auction houses thing where people can just buy it out of my stash instead of me Oh my god, if that is what I think it is, where you put something up and somebody can just buy it out if you say so, and you don't have to trade them or anything, bro, I'm gonna play fucking trade then. And we get a biz. I wonder if they got a new take on it. Oh, I'm fucking excited. I'm really excited. This all looks fucking cool. And then we have an hour here. Skill changes, support gem, sprinting, interludes, Act 4 trailer, Rise of the Abyssal, in-game changes, crafting, new trade system. Okay, this is what we're gonna watch. Oh, he's gonna go through the trailer again, I guess. I want to see this. I already saw this. I have to go cook. Alright.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers from Grinding Gear Games, and welcome to GGG Live. Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal of what's coming next for Path of Exile 2.
He doesn't usually.
Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so I didn't get the Twitch drops.
Incineration rare finisher effects by following the instructions below. Now with that out of the way, let's get started. It's time to give you a teaser of what's coming in Path of Exile 2, the Third Edict.
Oh, he's pleased with that one. He thinks it's cool. The Third Edict. He sounded proud.
I have called you here to save our people, to save our way. Over the ages, we have known pain like no other, but we endured, and we became mighty. Now, outsiders dishonor our shores, and we have stood by, doing nothing. Hear my voice, ancestors! Show us your strength! Show us the true way! I understand.
Now, as you can see, there's a lot going on, and we have a lot to reveal today. We'll start by going over Act 4, the next chapter in the Path of Exile 2 storyline. But that's not all. There's also 3 new interlude acts to get you to endgame, which means we're removing cruel difficulty too. After that, we'll be going through the massive changes to characters. I'm super excited to show you how I've overhauled the entire support gem system, added new skills, and yes, there are buffs. Next, we'll go over the Rise of the Abyssal, this season's exclusive league mechanic, and talk about the new rewards, crafting systems, areas, and bosses that it adds. After that, it's on to changes we're making to the endgame. Then it's time to talk about items, crafting, and oh yeah, trade. That's going to be a big one. We'll then go over our new supporter packs and finish up with a live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask Path of Exile 2's game directors, myself and Mark, your questions from Twitch chat. And after that, at 4 PM Pacific, patch notes. They're not quite complete, but they should give you some nice details to chew on. We've got a lot to cover today, but first, another announcement. When the Third Edict launches on the 29th, we'll be having a free weekend for Path of Exile 2. That's right, Path of Exile 2 will be free for the first time without requiring an early access key. The free weekend will end on September the 1st, so you'll have plenty of time to give the game a try. Alright, let's get started with Act 4. The story continues from the end of Act 3. Doryani has agreed to help you find an ancient weapon that can be used against corruption, the instrument of the Third Edict. The weapon was broken in ages past, but he believes that the pieces may be found in the Karui archipelago, the home of the Karui tribes. You will need to journey to Kingsmarch, hire a ship, and set sail. When you open the map, you can choose to sail anywhere you like. Act 4 is completely non-linear, and you can visit the islands in any order you choose. Will you visit the pristine beaches of Whakapanu Island? The Karui whisper of a curse that afflicts all who travel there. Perhaps it's related to the weapon you seek. Or maybe you will visit the volcanic shores of the Isle of Kin. The Kin have been more restless recently, mining for sulfite and driven by some dark force. Perhaps you will choose to consult with one of the local Karui tribes. Their ancient wisdom could hold clues to finding the Third Edict. No matter where you choose to go, you will fight dangerous beasts, find fabulous treasures, and battle incredible bosses.
A challenger! Come, Yama seize your soul!
Oh. I thought a lot of this
There are
just
8
needed me
islands
to
discover,
listen.
each teeming with its own flora and fauna. Act 4 contains over 100 new monster types.
Man.
It was broken in ages past, but he believes that the pieces may be found in the Karui archipelago, the home of the Karui tribes. You will need to journey to Kingsmarch, hire a ship, and set
Let's
sail.
go.
When you open the map, you can choose to sail anywhere you like. Act 4 is completely non-linear, and you can visit the islands in any order you choose.
So usually it's just Mark talking, right? But whenever it's like this, but obviously I forgot that it's an announcement. Whenever it starts in the sofa like this, I just figure, oh, he's gonna be talking. But obviously that's not until the fucking Q&A that he's just spitballing. They have a ton of shit I want to see here. So I'm gonna pause and I'll be right back. All right. It's happening.
Will you visit the pristine beaches of Whakapanu Island? The Karui whisper of a curse that afflicts all who travel there. Perhaps it's related to the weapon you seek. Or maybe you will visit the volcanic shores of the Isle of Kin.
Oh,
The
Nico?
Kin have been more restless recently, mining for sulfite and driven by some dark force. Perhaps you will choose to consult
were
with one of the
humans.
local Karui
Okay.
tribes. Their ancient wisdom could hold clues to finding the Third Edict. No matter where you choose to go, you will fight dangerous beasts, find fabulous treasures, and battle incredible bosses.
A challenger!
Oh, monkey.
Come, Yama seize your soul!
There are 8 islands to discover, each teeming with its own flora and fauna. Act 4 contains over 100 new monster types, 16 new areas, 12 new bosses, and plenty of other interesting encounters.
Ooh,
There's a
titties.
huge amount to show, but we're not going to spoil too much here.
Oh, I
We
want
want
to see
give you a chance to
the...
discover it all for yourself.
I did not think that they would go back to
What
back
happens? 16
things I was
new
interested
areas,
in.
12 new bosses, and plenty of other interesting encounters. There's a huge amount to show, but we're not going to spoil too much here. We want to give you a chance to discover it all for yourself. But what happens after Act 4? Well, until now you had to repeat the entire campaign again before you could face the endgame. But after adding Act 4, the game is far too long to make you do that. We needed something else to do in between the end of Act 4 and the endgame. So what else could we do? Add 3 new mini-acts, of course, and we're calling them the Interludes. The Interludes are a set of 3 temporary side stories that will be included in the game until Act 5 is released, that will take you to level 65 where the endgame can begin.
Okay.
The first interlude sends you on a journey back to Ogham. Renly has been leading the efforts to rebuild Ogham Village after the defeat of Count Geonor, but there's a new danger afoot. The nearby town of Holton is surrounded by an impenetrable darkness, and each night their corrupted townfolk emerge to raid the local farmlands. You'll discover new areas and new bosses. You'll need to find your way through the darkness,
A wildwood.
uncover the source of corruption,
Soon you will serve our master.
and defeat it.
Yes, I shall dance with their corpse.
And that's just the first interlude. The second interlude will have you return to the Vasteri Desert, where Asala has been given a sacred duty. When the skies align, the gifting of water requires a chosen Sekima to meet with the Selkari, guardians of the sacred water, but they're nowhere to be found. You will need to track down the Selkari, find those responsible for disrupting the gifting, fight even more new bosses, discover the secrets of the ancient ritual, discover new locations, and ultimately help Asala carry out her sacred duty. Now for Interlude 3.
This is cool.
As Royal Thaumaturge of the Val, Doyani
It's kind of the same where you go back to Act 1, 2, and 3, but they've made a new spin on it. Kind of like PoE 1, where it's the same areas, but it's new quests and they're slightly different because XYZ. This is really
had
cool.
plans within plans to save his people from the cataclysm perpetuated by Atzeri's lust for power.
This is above and beyond, because these are placeholders. This is really cool. Hold the message mark detection. Oh, wow.
One
Let's
such
go.
plan involved sealing a group of willing Val deep in a great mountain vault near the home of the Asmeri, deep enough to survive the cataclysm. Even though thousands of years have passed, he believes that their descendants may still live, and may be key to defeating the beast. The journey up the mountain will be dangerous. New foes stand in your way. And the further up the mountain you venture, the colder it will become. Explore caves of ice and enter the vault itself. Who can say what you will find within? The interludes are 6 to 7 areas each and generally include 4 boss fights as well. When you put that together with Act 4, that adds up to 35 new areas in the campaign and 24 new bosses.
The only thing I'll say is, I really hope they didn't spend too much time doing this, and it's just temporary shit. Because I would rather have seen other stuff. But it is above and beyond, for sure.
It's worth making clear that the interludes are temporary. When Act 5 and 6 are added, the interludes will be going away. These are side stories after all, but don't worry, the bosses and areas that make up the interlude are all part of the endgame. We're not just going to throw them away. And with that, we don't need cruel difficulty anymore. We do know that it was a pretty big chore to have to play through the campaign multiple times on each character, and this was a huge reason that the campaign could feel like a bit of a slog when playing through again. But we do also have another new feature to address that particular concern as well. So let's talk about sprinting.
Let's go.
In 030, when you hold down the dodge roll button, your character will go into a sprint after they finish the roll. This is available on all character classes, and there's no limitation on how long you can sprint for.
Oh,
The primary purpose of this feature is to make navigating areas faster when out of combat. Because of that, if you do take a hit while sprinting, you'll fall to the ground. The best idea is to use a skill when you see monsters. That'll break you out of the sprint so you can engage with no danger. If you do need to run away from monsters, just hold spacebar. You won't be vulnerable during the roll, and you're faster while sprinting than basically any monster in the game, allowing you to retreat from combat. Sprint is a pretty significant change to PoE 2's gameplay, What I like most about it is that we can accelerate the pace of the game for those who want that without having to compromise on PoE2's more visceral combat systems. Okay, so that's the new extensions to the campaign, but there's a whole giant league to play through as well. I'll leave that to Mark to talk about later. And that's because what I want to talk about now is the new stuff for your characters. And probably one of the biggest new systems here is with the support gems. Now, support gems are one of the most interesting elements to creating a build. They're what enables so many interesting mechanics and different ways to play. But PoE2's support gem system has just never been quite right. One of the major issues is the limitation of only having one support gem of each type on your character. We didn't want builds to just become using the same 5 most powerful supports in every skill. The problem with this design, though, is that it's actually working against using multiple skills in your build. If you can only use each support gem on one skill, it means that you're encouraged to go all in on that one ability. And we want to encourage you to combo your abilities, something needed to change. So with that in mind, we've removed the restriction of having one of each support gem per character. You can now use as many copies as you like.
Okay.
This should drastically increase the amount of possible builds and increase the amount of skill diversity. There are a lot of potential builds that suffered from the previous restriction. For example, a poison build previously couldn't add poison to more than one skill. They couldn't use stacking poison on more than one skill either. This severely limited your ability to combo with anything outside of the specifically designed poison archetype, but now you can. Many utility skills previously couldn't scale to endgame, because the supports that would make them scale were more useful to use on other skills. You would never speed up killing Palm with martial tempo, when you would much rather use it on your primary skill instead. There are more examples like this all over the place. In addition to that, though, we thought there wasn't enough feeling of progression in the supports as you went through the game. There were only 3 tiers of supports, and many of the most important ones were given out at Tier 1.
Let's go,
also,
levels.
there were no strict upgrades, meaning that upgrading supports when you ran out of sockets required quite a lot of thinking. In order to solve these issues, we now also have multiple levels of many supports as you go through the game. For example, double barrel support gives you an extra bolt, but at the cost of 30% less reload speed. At Tier 2, the penalty gets lowered to 20%. But then at Tier 3, the support gem gets something new. It now reloads automatically when you heavy stun an enemy.
This is basically every single fucking support gem basically becomes an awakened. Because they get extra
In
shit
some
at
cases,
level
the highest
max.
tiers might work a little differently, and you'll have to decide if you like the upgrade or not, depending on your build. For example, rapid casting. The first couple of levels gives 15, then 20% increased cast speed.
Okay.
But then at Tier 3, it changes to a new approach. For each different spell you cast in the last 8 seconds, you get 10% increased
I don't
cast
like
speed,
that.
which could be a pretty big bonus if you use a lot of different spells. So that's pretty
I don't like that. I think that's bad.
It kind of robs you of an upgrade in order to make essentially a new support gem. I would have much preferred that there was a support gem for that and it would level.
good for upgrades through the campaign, but we wanted to add a little more spice to the endgame for supports too. And that's where our new system, lineage supports, comes in.
Okay.
You can think of these like unique items, but for supports.
What?
There are supports that are only available at endgame, but they're much more powerful. Like Ratha's Assault. It's an upgraded version of Double Barrel that reloads your skill as you dodge roll, as well as increasing the number of bolts it can hold. But it does mean that it's the only way you can reload the skill now. Now, unlike regular supports, you can't find these through the uncut support gem. Just like unique items, many of these can be found from specific bosses.
So these are basically awakened.
And there's a ton in the regular drop pool too. Some of them are fairly rare.
Wait.
Cut support gem. Just like unique items, many of these can be found from specific bosses. And there's a ton in the regular drop.
One wild shot on casting support spells. Support skills have 20% chance to fire 8 in a circle per wild shot. Wait, 20% chance to fire 8 per wild. Is that? So the chance go up, or does the fucking additional projectiles go up as well?
Too. Some of them are fairly
Level of supporter skill gems, 10 quality of supporter skills. Okay.
rare. Others fairly
25% chance to load a bolt into all crossbow skills on dealing a killing blow. Oh wow.
common.
Now they're gonna
Some
say
of
you
them
can
are
only use
build-defining.
one or something.
Others are just straight up power upgrades.
Wait.
Some of them are fairly rare. Others fairly common. Some of them are
More life, creative or sports skills, trigger towers, vengeance.
build defining.
Okay.
Others are
Hits with support skill, treat enemy once it's inverted. Let's go! I like that. That's cool.
just straight up power upgrades. All in all, there's around 40 lineage supports being added throughout the endgame, so there's a lot of power to find out there. Now, the new support gems are certainly going to open up a lot of builds, but of course we have a huge range of improvements to individual character classes as well. As well as adding new skills, we had a big focus on buffing existing skills so that they can scale well into the endgame. There's a huge amount to cover here, so we're not going to discuss everything. We're just going to quick fire through some of the coolest changes.
Okay.
We wanted to make cold a more useful element on the Ranger, so we've expanded the cold tools available. As well as increasing its range, Escape Shot now creates fragments of ice whenever it hits the ground. These fragments explode after a short time, making the skill better for killing groups of enemies.
That's cool.
But not only that, we added an ice fragment support that creates more of them when killing frozen enemies.
Okay.
And a new buff skill called Ice Tipped Arrows that allows all your arrows to create ice fragments.
Oh! Cool.
This already gives clear to rangers wanting to use ice. But to take further advantage of the ice fragments, Freezing Salvo has been upgraded to shoot additional cold arrows towards every fragment, giving you a nuke-like ability.
Oh! Dude, I love that. That's so cool.
We've also modified Snipe to consume frozen from enemies, dealing a huge amount more damage, giving you a nice ice single target option.
Eh.
And something you might notice about this is that the bonus is a lot higher against bosses. This is actually a change you'll see throughout the entire game. Since it's a lot harder to freeze a boss, you should get a bigger reward for it.
Fair.
Another theme you'll see throughout the game is making movement feel better. Toxic Growth is a skill that was pretty cool, but a bit annoying to use with the jump that it had. Now Toxic Growth is a range skill, so you can spam it more easily. And we've also added a new poison skill while we were at it, called Toxic Domain. It creates a small area around you that makes all your attacks create toxic growth pustules, but attached to monsters.
Okay.
Another skill that was annoying to use was Electrocuting Arrow. It's now just a regular arrow, making it easier to use. But it also means you can support it with projectile supports. And it now
Oh, I
also
like
has
this.
area
They're
of
stuck
effect,
in it,
making it a tool
in
for
them.
more than just single target, and allowing it to scale into the endgame. We also added a new spirit reservation called Mirage Archer. This
Yes.
is a meta skill that allows you to create shadowy clones of yourself.
Oh, they
to
don't
use a
follow
skill
you?
of your choice.
Oh, that's cool.
Of course, one of the other big problems the Ranger had was survivability. Evasion was the weakest of the three defenses, and we wanted to change that. Currently, evasion doesn't evade all types of hits in the game, so you're still vulnerable to things like slams or unblockable attacks.
Okay.
To make evasion characters more tanky, we're adding a new mechanic called Deflect.
Ooh.
Unlike evasion, Deflect works on everything, and if you successfully deflect a hit, you take 40% less damage. Items can now give you a mod that gives you some amount of deflection based on your evasion.
Oh!
And there's a bunch of it available on the passive tree too.
We gain...
Currently, evasion doesn't evade all types of hits in the game, so you're still vulnerable to things like slams or unblockable attacks. To make evasion characters more tanky, we're adding a new mechanic called Deflect. Unlike evasion, Deflect works on everything.
And
if you
it's deflection rating provides a chance to deflect damage from hits, preventing 40% of the damage from those hits and ailments they inflict. Extra chance to deflect also depends on... Okay.
successfully deflect a hit, you take 40% less damage. Items can now give you a mod that gives you some amount of deflection based on...
Gain deflection rating equal to 19% of evasion rating. Okay. Okay.
your evasion. And there's a bunch of it available on the passive tree too.
It sounds really powerful.
Deflection is
actually.
rolled in addition
Sounds
to
a
evasion, so this is an upgrade for regular hits too. And unlike evasion, there's no maximum chance.
This kind of sounds like stronger spell suppression, doesn't it? Or am I being dumb? I mean, yeah, spell suppression is 50% and this is 40%, but this is all hits, not just spells, right?
You can reach 100% deflect against all hits if you spec into it enough. Of course, this is a buff that helps all dex characters, so the mercenary and the monk, but especially the huntress, are seeing big defense boosts from this as well.
What about
Speaking of defensive mechanics, let's talk about block and parry.
Huntress?
Now, one of the big concerns on the release of the Huntress was parry feeling unreliable. One of the big reasons for this is there's a lot of hits that are not blockable, and thus not parryable either. So a huge balance change we're making is that now everything is blockable, except for specifically unblockable red flash skills that bosses use.
Let's go! Big change, that's cool.
This makes parry much more reliable.
Yeah, that's
and not
cool.
only that, but to make block and parry nicer to use, you now also move faster than before while using these abilities.
Oh, let's go!
This is a massive buff to passive block as well. So to counter that, we did have to lower the max passive block a bit, but overall you should feel much safer. Fire skills on the warrior were not really cutting the mustard, so we decided we needed to upgrade a bunch of them, but also add some more as well. Let's start with a buff. Volcanic fish are now branches into multiple fishes, giving it much more clearing potential. We've also added a new skill called Forge Hammer. This skill throws a molten hammer that does a slam at a distance. You can recall the hammer back by using the skill again if you like, but the cooler thing to do is to use a Warcry near it.
So you turn
Using
into
a Warcry
fucking...
makes the hammer explode, making it...
So you turn your mace into Fire Mjolnir, basically.
Call the hammer back by using the skill again if you like, but the cooler thing to do is to use a Warcry near it. Using a Warcry makes the hammer explode, making a bunch of volcanic fishes around. Volcanic fishes re-trigger when you slam them, so it's a great skill to make a flaming arena to fight a boss.
What?
We also buffed Perfect Strike to have much larger area of effect, and changed Molten Blast to not always force you to move forward. Trust me, it feels a lot better to use.
Yeah, I mean, there's a announcement of the new league, right? And it's coming out the 29th, and I needed to eat anyways, so it's like perfect. I didn't see it. It was Wednesday. So good. It looks really fucking good. I'm a little bit I don't know if I'm all that for the support skill change. I think it was kind of cool trying to make multiple skills work with only one copy of each support gem, but I do see the issues. But I always thought that the issues would be fixed by just sheer volume. And now they're also adding like these unique support gems, so you're getting the volume. So I think you could have the one-off pretty easily though, I think. No major in-game changes though. I mean, only one support gem was like hyper cringe, since you always want to be invested in like one animal, so all your skills likely want the same support. See, yes and no. Because, at least the way I would do it, is there's combo skills, right? If we take the should Loki railroad you into good old PoE 1 or 2 main skills despite the systems? See, I don't think this is going to change that though. But the way I saw it was, or the way I see it is, you have two skills. You have your single target, you have your clear, right? You have an AoE, you have a single target. And then you have a bunch of little things that enable these things, right? So for the Huntress, for instance, you'd have the... I played for a while with with lightning arrow as my AoE, and then with tornado thing as my single target, because a lot of the monsters were in small arenas. So you have whatever creates the elemental ground, right? And you have the whirlwind thing. Neither of those I care about what damage they're doing. 0, right? It's just whirlwind and thunder spear, whatever it is. And I think the same could be said for like a lot of other characters where, yeah, you will somewhat be fighting for the support gems between 2 skills, but only 2, I think, because the support ones, they have totally different different requirements and different things. Like the character I probably did the most on was the freeze monk with the herald tech. And it's like your heralds were supposed to chain, right? So yeah, you did want the same damage as on your freezy thing. Well, I appreciate the follow. I think it's just towards changing it. But do you really want to have like multiple abilities that you use all the time for like? Then you gotta really niche down the abilities. Then you gotta have one that's screen wide clear. You're gonna have one that's like 4 or 5 mob clear. You gotta have one that's single target, right? Like, but how many abilities can you really get before we get into the combo, right? And if we get into the combo, then all of the things you use to enable your build, their damage doesn't really matter, because then it stops being a combo. It's only having a few skills, being able to have good support makes it so much harder. Yeah. There is a world where all your support skills want. That is true. But I mean, see, I think the change is definitely easier. That's what I'll say. It's much easier to reach the desired what they want, right? Like it's way easier because you don't need to have multiple support gems vying for the same spot, right? Like if you take PoE 1, right? The supports are pretty simple, but you do have multiple things that does similar stuff, right? You have faster attacks, and you have the melee strike thing that goes 3. I don't know what it's called. The one that makes you hit 3 times, right? Both of those are attack speed things, and you might not want to play both of them, right? Now, obviously, the smash fast doesn't work on everything, but like you could have multiple support filling roughly the same whatever function, but in slightly different ways, right? I think it's definitely going to be, it is obviously going to be positive for PoE 2 now. I just think that the limitation had potential to be really cool once they added a crap load of supports. So it's not just the top 6 you use, right? So it's like, oh, I'm using, I kind of like, well, not kind of, I really like which support gems am I using for which ability? What do I need for clear? What do I need for bossing? What will help me in bossing? What will help me in clearing? How do I clear? How do I boss, right? Like, do I actually need faster attack speed on my clear? No, I don't, because I fire off one ability and it clears the screen, right? Okay, then I can put that in my single target setup where I actually do need it because it's pew. So I sacrifice that faster wind up for having like higher DPS on the boss, right? So like, I like that. I think that was cool, but obviously, because there wasn't enough support gems, and some of them, a lot of the ones that were either couldn't be used for your skills, or they were super restrictive in their use. Some of them even bricked certain skills, right? You really didn't have that many options to pick from. Now, let's say you tripled the amount of support gems in the game. Now I think the one support works really well, and they are adding the unique supports, right? So that's freeing up all the supports that are there now that does similar things, right? And now you also have different ranks, so you could have it so that you can use one of each rank. So let's say I have a rank 3, or I'll use rank 2 on this. Something like that. That would be a boring way to do it, but it would do it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the gems. I like the gems leveling up. I don't like it being you find a fucking thing and use it. Like, it is, in my opinion, overly complicated way of doing what PoE 1 does really well with the leveling up of the skills. I think the leveling up of the skills in PoE 1 is better.
Now, the skill now has massively boosted chance to ignite monsters as well. And you're going to want to ignite monsters due to a new glory skill called Ancestral Cry. Ancestral Cry charges up with glory by igniting monsters, invoking King Kaum's favor. After you do, use it to channel Kaum's ancestral power. Every attack will be ancestrally boosted with fire. Your very steps will explode, triggering volcanic fissures, and molten balls will erupt from your attacks. Warrior shield skills were another area we wanted to improve. Now that we've got sprint, we actually don't need to have a cooldown on shield charge anymore. It now also does more damage the further away you are when you use it.
Okay, no cooldown on shield charge?
Shield wall got significantly upgraded AoE. Also, you can shield charge right through it to trigger all the walls. We also added a new shield war cry. Fortifying Cry gives you a defensive buff, but it also builds up charge on your shield that empowers your other shield skills. And Magma Barrier now doesn't require timing in order to use. Just wait for your shield to charge up and block.
Okay.
Seismic Cry now stuns enemies that are primed for stun. And we changed the Sunder interaction with Armor Break. It now also gives a Sundered Armor debuff that makes enemies take 40% extra physical damage. Great for bosses. Ancestral Warrior Totem has undergone some pretty significant changes too. We wanted the skill to feel more like using an ultimate, that summoning an ancestor to fight for you was a big deal. So we've changed this totem to require 3 endurance charges to summon, and massively buffed its damage. It also now scales your weapon damage too. Since there's no limit anymore, if you build around generating endurance charges, you can summon an entire forest of totems. In order to make that easier, we added some new sources of endurance charges. There's now a support to make Perfect Strike generate charges, and a support for generating endurance charges from heavy stuns as well. Speaking of totems, we wanted to upgrade the Warbringer. Among the other changes we've made to this class, Answered Call now gives an extra totem, and the spirits have just been generally buffed in many ways. Use it with your limitless ancestral warrior forest to make an army of Karui that would make Tukahama proud. We've also merged the Great Wolf Howl and Warcaller's Bellow support, so that you can get all the benefits with 1 point.
Oh, wow.
And Encased in Jade no longer removes the Jade when getting hit, making it a much better defense. Next up, let's talk about accuracy. Accuracy was always intended to be something that warriors didn't need to care about very much so long as they're in close combat. But unfortunately, that's not currently the case. This was particularly annoying with skills like Bone Shatter, which you certainly don't want to mess with. So we significantly buffed your chance to hit at close ranges when you don't have much accuracy. Warriors shouldn't require any accuracy investment in order to hit with close range attacks now.
Okay.
We also wanted to improve armor. Now, one of the major weaknesses of armor is the inability to defend against elemental damage. In order to mitigate this, we're adding a lot more of the stat that allows your armor to defend against elemental damage. It's now available on items and in a lot more places on the passive tree.
Okay.
One of the most important improvements we've made in 030 is to declunk the action and flow of shooting crossbows. You can now reload crossbows without any movement penalty.
That's nice.
But not only that, all skills that can be used while moving now slow you for a shorter amount of time. This change benefits everyone, not just crossbow skills. With both of these changes put together, the run and gun playstyle feels much better.
Cool.
It's hard to explain how important this change is for the feel of the class. The Mercenary is also a good chance to talk about how we're rebalancing to make comboing skills much better. Take Shock, for example. It buffs damage and lasts 4 seconds right now, but that isn't really giving you enough time to take advantage of it. If you're going to add a lightning skill into a build that otherwise wouldn't use one, we need to make mechanics like this much better. So we've increased shock duration on monsters to last 8 seconds,
Oh shit, double?
and skills like Plasma Blast, which are intended to be good at shocking enemies, now increase the damage bonus by a lot more. You'll find changes like this all around the game. Chill now lasts 8 seconds, giving you more of a reason to weave in cold damage. Freezing skills are better at freezing. Burning skills need to cause burns that last longer. But making skills like Permafrost Bolts and Incendiary Shot double down on how they're supposed to be used, it makes using them in your build alongside other skills much more likely. We're also making sure to buff specific combos too. The freeze explosions from frag rounds now chain to nearby enemies. And using high velocity rounds with armor break will now fragment the opponent's armor. This causes monsters to take a portion of high velocity rounds damage with every subsequent hit, even tiny pellets.
Kinda impale.
So that means following it with a shotgun blast is way more effective.
Let's go.
Now there's a lot more buffs to crossbow skills, but for now I'm just going to talk about the new one we added, the Mortar Cannon. This one lets you socket any grenade skill, and using it will summon a cannon which loads and then fires the grenade you choose.
That's cool.
Another issue on the Mercenary were banners. They were just not very good, so we're doing a big upgrade to them. They now last longer, don't disappear when moving out of them, and we removed the Valor mechanic. They now just give a much more consistent and stronger buff, and you can use them when you get enough glory.
Okay.
On which, one of the main focuses was making various minion types more useful to use together. Melee minions in particular were just not that great compared to ranged ones. As a starting point, we just straight up removed the requirement for minions to have accuracy. Attack minions now always hit, which makes them way better.
Okay.
Brutes got some good numeric buffs, but we also added a new command skill where they do a war cry that intimidates enemies and detonates any frozen monsters and allies around you in a big cold explosion. We've also changed the Frost Mage's command skill to an ability that adds ice armor to your other minions, adding a layer of defense. And it makes them deal cold damage back to the attacker as well. The ice armor also makes the minion count as frozen, so the Brute's war cry can detonate them too.
What?
Unearth was changed to work on corpses of your dead skeletons, allowing you to summon the minions more easily in boss fights. And they also got a new jump ability, allowing them to get into combat faster. Ray's Spectre was also feeling pretty weak for the spirit cost they have. To be honest, we were a little afraid of these when we first balanced them. We've both decreased the spirit cost for a large range of monsters, and have significantly increased Spectre damage too. They should feel a lot more impactful.
Oh shit.
There's also a lot of new spellcaster weapons with newer cult skills. But I'll just talk about one of them that I thought was particularly cool. The Reaping Staff is actually a wicked scythe that gives you a new ability called Reap. When an enemy is low in life, you can dash forward and rake enemies with the scythe to cull them instantly, healing you. It can also inflict critical weakness on enemies too. Now, there's a lot of balance changes in the Witch's Ascendancy classes, but I'll just talk about 2 of them for now. On the Blood Mage, you were previously required to spend your first points on Sangomancy, which really was supposed to be the downside for being able to access the powerful abilities on the rest of the class. In order to make picking the Blood Mage a better early option, we made Sangomancy free, unlocking the power of the rest of the class immediately.
Oh shit, that's a big
On the
buff.
Infernalist, the Demon form wasn't something people were really using because you lost your weapon stats while transformed. Well, you no longer do, so it's a much better option now. On the Monk, the wind skills needed a big upgrade for sure.
Yeah.
Staggering Palm can now stack up its duration if you use the skill multiple times in a row. So you can keep the effect of all your skills throwing up wind much more easily.
Yes.
Wind Blast had the purpose of building up to dazing an enemy, but dazing just wasn't worth all that effort. Now it just dazes on hit, meaning a single Wind Blast will make all your skills stun enemies more easily. Following up with Vaulting Impact on a dazed enemy previously did a bunch of stun. Now it allows you to break your enemy's stance. When their stance is broken, following up with a fast attack will do way more damage.
Okay.
A cool build that certain people always enjoyed in PoE 1 was hand-to-hand combat, but until now we just didn't have a real way to make it viable. Well, that changes now. The monk, as a true martial artist, now has the ability to learn the hollow palm technique, a keystone that lets you use all quarterstaff skills while unarmed. All quarterstaff attacks now have a special unarmed version, and you get further bonuses to all your attacks from stacking energy shield and evasion on your character.
Let's go. Oh, I could play that. That sounds cool.
A new keystone we also added to the monk section of the tree is Walker of the Wilds. This changes mana leech to work with elemental damage instead of physical, which is pretty useful for all those elemental attacks the monk has, but it works well for the ranger too. Now, one of the least used ascendancy classes in the game is the Acolyte of Cholula, so we knew we needed to make some changes here. One of the key things we had to do was make the chaos damage that the Acolyte can do much more useful.
Yes.
So we've added a new skill, allowing chaos damage to ignite, shock, chill, and freeze, embracing the elemental prowess of the monk in a truly chaotic fashion. In addition, he can make all of his chaos damage leech. And we've buffed Into the Breach and Embrace the Darkness by moving the effects of the 4-point nodes into the base skills. He also gains a new notable, Grasp of the Void, which leaves void illusions behind you as you dodge roll. If they're killed, they do massive explosions of darkness, dealing damage to everything in sight. Now let's talk about Sorceress skills. One of the things we wanted to improve on the Sorc is the ability to use multiple elements together more effectively. Now, this might seem small, but one of the things pushing you towards using a single element is debuffs like Elemental Curses, which lower resistances of a single element. In order to fix that, we're making quite a lot of game-wide changes to these kinds of mechanics to broaden what they apply to. So for example, there's no longer 3 curses for fire, ice, and lightning. Instead, there's just a single curse that buffs all 3 at the same time.
Oh, shit.
And things like Frost Bomb, which gave you cold exposure, now give elemental exposure. You can use it to buff any of your other skills.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
We also wanted to make switching between different weapon sets smoother, so you can use different elemental staves more effectively. To do that, we've removed the weapon switch time, and now happens instantly. This applies game-wide too. Now, we didn't just want to stop there. We wanted to add some specific mechanics that work between different elements.
This is fucking
and that's
cool.
where elemental infusions come in. Certain skills can now...
Is the demon form just witch? Yeah, the demon form is... sorry, I didn't see when you posted that. The demon form is a witch ascendancy. It's infernalist. So, yeah, it's not just witch. You have to be an infernalist. If you're a... Is it necromancer or lich or whatever the other one is? You won't get it. It is infernalist. So, yeah, just witch.
I'll drop elemental infusions. For example, when a frost bomb explodes, it leaves behind a cold infusion on the ground. After picking it up, you can spend it on one of any number of different skills to transform how they work. Spark will create a nova of cold infused projectiles. Ice Nova will leave a chilled area on the ground. And we also added a new low-level skill that fires ice shards. Use it with cold infusion though, and the ice shards will explode.
Bro, I think I'm playing sorcerer. This
All
is
of
cool.
Storms now generates lightning infusions when you cast enough spells near it. And that's all spells, by the way, not just lightning. Once you have one, you could cast a lightning flame wall, which adds both fire and lightning damage to all the projectiles that pass through it.
Bro.
Or power up Ember Fusillade with lightning, which will generate arcs to nearby enemies as each fireball hits. Or maybe go lightning on lightning with arc.
Bro, this is how you do fucking combos, PoE. Fucking look at the complexity. You can do fucking everything. So now you can get fire. I'm assuming fire as well, right? You get frost infusion, you get fire infusion, you get lightning infusion. And each infusion has a different effect on every single skill in the game. Well, every single sorcerer skill in the game, I'm assuming. That is insane. Dude, the shit you can do.
This skill is now a projectile, and by infusing it, you can go full Palpatine.
Wait, what's now a projectile?
Get fire infusions by blowing up or power up Ember Fusillade with lightning, which will generate arcs to nearby enemies as each fireball hits. Or maybe go lightning on lightning with arc. This skill is now a projectile, and by infusing it, you can go full Palpatine.
Oh my god.
Get fire infusions by blowing up monsters with living bomb. Then use them with Comet to summon a giant fire meteor from the sky.
Ugh!
Or use it with Firestorm, which transforms it from a small area into a much bigger one.
Show me Firestorm.
Firestorm is unique in that it can be infused by multiple different elements at the same time. Add an ice infusion to rain down ice at the same time as the fire. And add lightning to add deadly strikes from the heavens into the mix. Or use it with all three to generate a storm that is truly apocalyptic.
Wow!
Cold Snap has been simply turned into Snap. Previously, you could use it to shatter ice, but now it works to detonate all of the different elemental ailments and make some leave behind infusions.
Oh, I want to do that!
And just like how you could previously use it on Frostbolt, you can now also use it on Orb of Storms and Solar Orb to detonate those as well, which means you can create many infusions at once.
Dude!
We also have a Spirit Reservation skill and a support gem to help generate them too.
I think I'm playing Sorcerer.
On the passive tree, we've added quite a few new keystones to the Sorceress section. Here are a couple of examples. The Black Flame Covenant keystone converts your fire spells to chaos and causes your ignites to deal chaos damage. Your fire spells and ignites will also turn purple. The Ritual Cadence keystone causes your invocation skills to trigger more times, but makes them trigger periodically over a longer duration instead of one. Great for those auto bomber builds. Now, in addition to skill changes, we've added a lot more options for the passive tree for each class.
Let's
Overall,
go.
there are more than 100 new notables on the tree, usually around 20 per class,
Shit.
along with smaller clusters as well.
Oh, wow.
Check out the old version. And here's the new version. It's a lot more dense, and there's more interesting nodes than before.
Oh, PoE 1 is back. Fucking
Now, we
hell.
probably can't go through too many of these in the live stream, so I'll just show you one from each class's area of the tree.
I really hope they added to the what they do as well, because one of the things in PoE 1 versus PoE, or PoE 2 versus PoE 1, I guess is the way I should phrase it, is, yeah, there was less of them, which, I mean, more is cool, right? It also makes it a little bit more overwhelming, I guess, but that's fine for me. I don't think, if you're interested in this game, this looks overwhelming, but you should just take a second and fucking read, yeah? It's just, what am I trying? I mean, if you don't want to just like try and get an overview of this, use a guide. They will have done the thinking for you, right? But if you're going to play by yourself, have a thought, what am I going to do? And then search around for things that will buff what you do, right? Like, if you do lightning, well, you need some lightning pen. You need some, what's it called? Lightning damage. You need some, like, there's attack speed. Oh, well, I'm lightning, I'm also shocking. Let me look at the shock things, right? So, what defenses I'm using? Oh, I'm using energy shield. So let me look around, shop around for energy shield those, right? And as you read things, you get to learn the colorations or the icons or whatever, right? Like these little things that are supposed to be so you can see what's what, right? You get to learn what's what, and then whenever you're traveling around, you can be like, oh, what is this, right? And then look, yeah. So it's not as overwhelming as it seems. But one of the things that I think about PoE 1 versus PoE 2 is I feel like the notables in PoE 1 are much, they seem or feel much more impactful. I feel much better getting a cluster or notable in PoE 1 than I do in PoE 2. So I hope they didn't just add more, and these are now the good ones. I hope they also address that some of the notables and some of the options are kind of lackluster. I don't think it was dog shit. I just think that a lot of the nodes were not good. It's like there was entire clusters that were just recharge rate of energy shield, right? Whereas in PoE 1 you would also have gotten max energy shield on top of it, right? So instead of it just being like recharge rate of energy shield, it would, in PoE 1 it would have been like recharge of energy shield, max energy shield as well, and then maybe you'd get a third thing on the big one, right? Like, and then on top of it there's the mastery. Those are not here. I don't necessarily know if that's a bad thing. I just like them, but I think it's more like because it's cool. And then there was others where it's just like you had a whole one that was like shock duration. It's like, bro, shock chance, shock effect, like something more. It's like there's so many of them where you're just like, yeah, I'm not gonna take this. I think there are entire nodes that are just stun threshold as well, right? Isn't there like I feel like there's some of the down here where it's just like you have X% more. Jesus, you have X more stun threshold. Like, who's gonna take that? Sucks your butt.
We tried to be a lot more thematic with the new nodes. So for example, the Molten One's gift. It lets the benefit of armor break apply.
So yeah, look, this is way better. The fire resist is just kind of whatever. 50% increase to fully broken armor. Nice. Fully broken armor effects also apply fire damage taken from hits. So this one, you feel like you get more, although I would have liked to see some sort of like damage amp as well, other than the... Yeah. One little perk does Jack said. Yeah. A lot of them, at least, where it's like, I'm just a lot of the small ones are like, yeah, they're giving me stuff, but it's the big one that gives me stuff. And sometimes it felt like that the big ones gave as much as the small ones do in PoE1. Sometimes. See, for this one, the fire resistance is kind of just nice. It's just there, right? It's likely kind of useless. Increased effect of fully broken armor is nice. Fully broken armor effects also apply to fire damage. So this now means I can do armor break to buff my fire damage, right? So I would have loved to see some sort of like either a conversion or like a fire damage amp, something that also directly increase your damage, just to pack some more power into it.
To your fire damage. Or how about Last Stand, which gives you lots of stats as your situation becomes more and more desperate. A lot of these have themes aligning with ascendancy classes. Like for the Gemling Legionnaire, for example. You have crystallized immunities, which makes you immune to different status ailments, depending on which support gem color you have socketed the most.
I don't like that one.
Another ascendancy class aligned notable is Sanguimatic Rituals. It allows arcane surges to generate life instead of mana, unlocking that support gem to be used with the Blood Mage Ascendancy.
That's cool.
In the Sork area, you'll find these Archon nodes that allow you to convert all of your elemental damage to a specific element. You become a Lightning Archon when you spend enough mana, after which all your skills will be converted to lightning, and you will do extra lightning damage as well. We have ones for cold and fire too, with different triggers.
That's cool.
Here's another cool one. Elemental Practitioner gives crit bonuses if you've triggered a skill recently, while also making crits generate more energy for triggers. Or maybe you'd like the Great Boar. It gives you a reason to stack dexterity to make you tougher, giving a bonus to life and stun threshold.
Like...
Or the Cunning Fox. It straight up gives you 5% quality to all your gems.
Bro. This is what I'm talking about, yeah? Now, this might be really powerful, and it probably is, but what the fuck is that? I'm gonna spend, assuming I already took this, because if I remember correctly, these are really good, but assuming I'm already here and don't have to travel for it, right? You're gonna tell me to spend 4 points to get that? What's in these, like 1%? So you get 8% quality. Now, that might be really powerful, but fuck, that's boring. Why doesn't this also give 1 level? Like, that, now we're talking, yeah. And that, if you do that, it would be every single probably using it, but... It just... 5% quality seems a little lackluster, but maybe I'm forgetting how good the qualities are in PoE2.
Now, another major change is attribute requirements. We felt like players probably had a few too many nodes and attributes, and not enough in interesting passives.
Yes, please.
So we lowered attribute requirements by 25% across the board.
Oh, let's go. That's so good.
That means you'll have more points to spend on interesting notables rather than just needing to allocate more strength, dex, and int.
That's so good. That's really good.
Now, there are way more changes than just these. These are just some of the cooler ones we wanted to show off. But I'd say that's just about enough for now. We're not even half done yet. So I think it's time that we talk about the League, the rise of the Abyssal. And to do that, I'd like to hand things over to Mark.
So I'm guessing this is basically the only... Oh, there's a bit of endgame here. So basically, Abyss is gonna probably add a bit of a end game, right? Like it's gonna add a couple of bosses,
Sure.
yeah.
Even though there are major changes to the campaign for this update, we want to make sure that every time you come back for an expansion, each area feels different with something extra going on. It is really important to make sure your experience when returning between expansions is fresh and filled with new content. And the way we did this was through leagues. Every expansion we make has a league, which not only has a fresh economy, but also has new content exclusively available in that league. So, let's delve into the details of what Path of Exile 2's first official league is bringing to the table. The Abyssal are a race that have mastery of forbidden magics and necromancy. They were thought to be extinct, but have merely been biding their time underground. You first encounter signs of the Abyssal in Clarefell, where you discover that during the night, weaker members of the Undead Legion have been attacking the encampment. The townsfolk require your help to investigate where the monsters are coming from and put a stop to their attacks.
Out there, ancient creatures, lurking beneath the surface.
As you proceed through Rayclast, you'll find fissures in the earth connected to larger pits. The
So-
monsters normally inhabiting the area are being affected by it, harmed by it even, having their souls eaten to strengthen the abyssal underground. As you defeat the monsters, the fissure closes and abyssal emerge, angered by you killing their food. Once all those fissures have been sealed, the pit activates, and more abyssal pour out. This is where the larger and more dangerous monsters reveal themselves, as hordes of abyssal spew out from the pit to take your soul.
Wait. So you're not chasing it anymore? You have to actually kill mobs along the ridge? Is that what I'm understanding?
If you kill a magic pack, then magic abyssal arise. If you kill a rare, then a rare monster will emerge from the pit, having absorbed some or all of its modifiers for itself.
Wait,
This
what?
means the monsters emerging will
So you take monsters to the abyss and kill them? That sounds annoying.
generally be more difficult and more rewarding, as each modifier gives better rewards. If you are able to kill them all, the pit will seal shut. As each pit is closed, it reveals a potential reward. Abyssal troves will rise up out of the pits, allowing you to get some epic loot. Areas
Nord Rib.
often contain many pits, with many fissures, and the amount goes up as you progress through the game, getting more intense. It doesn't stop there. When monster mods are absorbed, they have a chance to become infused with the dark necromancy, transforming them into abyssal modifiers. For example, you defeat this monster with the Mana Siphoner modifier. Their soul is eaten by the pit, and a rare monster emerges. The Mana Siphoner modifier has transformed into Soul Siphoner, and is now amplified in danger and reward. Abyssal pits also interact with other monsters and mechanics. If you defeat a rogue exile that's near one, it'll be revived as a Lichborn that has multiple abyssal modifiers. Lichborn exiles even have their own unique jewel they can drop, if you are lucky enough to encounter and kill them. If an abyss spawns near a boss, killing it will summon a gigantic Giga Larvae creature.
Oh shit, look at that!
Monsters imprisoned in essences near abyssal pits are affected by the abyss too. They will come with an additional new essence item that can be used to craft your items. So, that's your bread and butter of the Abyssal League. Kill surface-dwelling monsters, kill the emerging abyssal, close the fissures, overcome pit encounters, and reap the rewards. There's a lot more to this league, however. As you complete abysses, you can find ancient pieces of bone, preserved from the remains of fallen Lichborn. These are one of the many rewards for your mission to seal the pits. You can use this on a rare item to imbue it with abyssal magic, adding a special hidden modifier to your item. But how do you reveal it? In Act 2 of the campaign, you'll encounter a new area. This area is overrun by the Abyssal and the Lost Men. After clearing through this area, you'll find the Well of Souls, a giant cavity with a massive vortex of souls swirling beneath you. So how do you reveal the mods on your abyssal-infused items? obviously just throw them in, right? Yes, that's exactly what you do. Before throwing it in, you are given the option of how you want to transform it, in the form of a choice of 3 different modifiers.
Oh,
Once you've chosen your desired
it's
mod,
Syndicate.
throw it in, where it will absorb the power of the souls, and the ominous creature will then retrieve it for you. These modifiers can be ones from the core mod pool, all the way through to specialized modifiers that cannot normally appear on items. During the campaign, you can use it as a way to more easily add useful existing mods, but during the endgame, there is a whole set of new and powerful mods you can add to your items.
So, as much as I love the animation of you actually throwing the item out and that monster thing crawling down into the bullshit, collecting it and bringing it up, they literally just removed the need for you to just talk to Jun to unveil, yeah, in PoE 1. And now in PoE 2, they're adding unveils and somehow not learning the lesson that they just implemented in PoE 1. Not only that, but they made it even more fucking horrific because you have to go to a spot and throw it in there. Now, this is fucking cool, right? It is cool as fuck. And it'll be really dope the first, 3 times. And then it's gonna be fucking annoying.
Like this mod for crossbows, that allows you to place an additional ballista totem.
Okay.
Or this one, that adds spirit to your staff. Or this one, that allows you to generate more combo with your quarterstaff skills. And speaking of endgame, you can...
Those things are going into quad tab till it's full. Is there a stash tab here? Because I didn't notice. If you don't have a stash tab here, you can only have an inventory full, right? And then at the same time, this is one of the few somewhat deterministic crafts you have, right? So you're going to be using this for every single item you have, rather than spamming Exalt, right? Players are periodically cursed with it. Wait, what are we doing now?
Like this mod for crossbows, that allows you to place an additional ballista totem. Or this one, that adds spirit to your staff. Or this one.
I will admit, I was kind of hoping that they'd bring Abyssal Jewels back. Because they have Socketables is a big thing in PoE 2 for your power. And I thought Abyssal Jewels would be just a good way to add some cool shit there. Isn't that a new crossbow? So I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really played Mercenary, but yeah, it looked like a new base. But I mean, whenever they're adding a new act, right? And usually the act comes with new bases. So I would assume that it's those bases. A lot of the bases right now are just placeholder because you get, instead of getting new bases like you're supposed to, you just get, they get a different name in front of them. So it's not just barrier quarterstaff, right? Then it's like expert barrier quarterstaff, right? Something like that. But that was in season 1, I think. And I think they changed it in season 2 for them to have more thematic names. But I think it was always the case of new act, new weapons.
That allows you to generate more combo with your quarterstaff skills.
Now what is
and
this?
Speaking of endgame, you can also use the system to craft waystones. With a preserved vertebrae fused into your waystones, you can get some new modifiers that push difficulty and rewards to new heights.
Do you have to go ahead to roll maps?
Here are some examples of those mods. You always get a choice of 3.
Narrow rare monsters in the area, eat the souls of slain monsters in the present player, steal the eaten souls and slain rare monsters in the area. So, Headhunter. Increased number of rare monsters, nether rare monsters in the area in a union of souls with the map boss? Oh, fun! That's the one where you kill a rare and it buffs up all the rest, so you're gonna end with a mega juiced boss? Fuck that. Area has patches of mana siphoning ground.
so you can avoid anything you don't think your character is capable of. With this modifier, the natural inhabitants of the area are all spawned near abysses. And there are up to 9 additional abyssal pits in the area.
That's pretty
making
big.
it just a full-on abyss ruckus. Or this one, which causes the final abyssal pit in the area to always result in a boss encounter.
That's
be it
really
either one
good.
underground or one that emerges out. There are dozens of these Waystone modifiers in total you can get from.
Oh, we already saw that one. Play it. Tier 17 mods.
this crafting. That covers the new crafting mechanic. So what's left? Well, we talked about how when closing pits you can get abyssal troves, but sometimes when closing an abyss, you'll reveal an underground cavern that leads to the abyssal depths.
Oh, I like
After
the little
jumping into
animation.
the depths, you'll find an abyssal city, swarming with legions of the undead.
That's cool.
When underground, every single rare abyssal enemy will have an abyssal modifier. And at the end of the dungeon, you'll even find a rare with a more powerful Lichborn modifier.
Rare, okay.
Once you're able to defeat this powerful rare, you can also find some nice rewards. Aside from the entire area being valuable due to the abyssal modifiers on the monsters, it has its own specific drops too.
What is a greater orb of augmentation?
One example is a set of lineage supports that can rarely be found in these depths, like Kurgel's Leash. This support empowers both you and your minions when you command them, granting unholy might to you both. Another depth-specific outcome is a set of omen-like items that amplify your abyssal crafting. Additionally, we're adding some new socketables that can drop from the abyssal depths. Take Ulaman's.
The body armor is pretty powerful, I think. +1 accuracy rating per 1 item evasion rating on equipped helmet.
Gaze, which can be
Okay.
socketed into your armor. These are a bit special in that you can only have one equipped at a time, but give some pretty powerful effects. Think of them as almost a unique socketable for your
Oh,
equipment.
you can only have one. Okay.
In the endgame, where you can still
Extra
find
stackers,
depths,
let's go.
you also start to find a different type of underground chamber. In these areas, you'll find an ancient spire, a device being used
Oh.
by commanders of the abyssal factions to plunge Rayclast into a lightless void. Your goal is simple. Kill this commander and destroy the spire.
Yeah, the ball is like, oh.
There are 4 bosses in the Abyss League, and there are some pretty cool
Let's
uniques available from them.
go. Stygian Vice. Oh, the
An
Darkness
example
Third
is this
Throne, yeah.
belt, Darkness Enthroned. It has 2 sockets. But hold on, socketables don't work on belts. Well, this belt has a special mod that allows it to count as a different slot for the purpose of socketables. This one, for example, counts as a helmet. I kind of want one that counts as a body armor.
Yeah, I like the
wonder
belt.
how
It's
rare
cool.
that one is. You can also find this.
So you can get them to count for any. Wait, is it any armor piece? So not weapons. What did you say?
In these areas, you'll find cool uniques available from them. An example is this belt, Darkness Enthroned. It has 2 sockets. But hold on, socketables don't work on belts. Well, this belt has a special mod that allows it to count as a different slot for the purpose of socketables.
For a different slot. I wonder if you can use it as a weapon. If you can use the weapon ones in there. If that's a thing. It is probably yeah. Like there's obviously what weapon is there offhand, is that separate? I think, right? I don't know what shields and stuff, if they're separate, they probably are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So it's 1 in 6. And then on top of that, it's like probably is it 0 to 100 or is it 50 to 100? So yeah, Giga Gamba.
Socketables don't work on belts. Well, this belt has a special mod that allows it to count as a different slot for the purpose of socketables.
Wait, what was that one?
Socketables don't work on belts. Well, this belt has a special mod that allows it to count as a different slot for the purpose of socketables.
37% increased effective exposure. Okay.
This one, for example, counts as a helmet. I kind of want one that counts as a
0
body
to
armor.
100. The low
I wonder how rare
involved
that
for
one
even
is.
more. Yeah.
You can also find this unique jewel, Undying Hate. This jewel transforms part of your passive skill tree into an abyssal version, and has multiple depths. The deeper it goes, the more of your passive tree is affected, allowing you to fulfill your fantasy of becoming part Abyssal Lich. Now, the last thing that Abyssal Commanders can draw.
So, let me just. So, Abyss is. It's the Abyss mechanic from PoE 1, and it has Syndicate of Betrayal as well as Legion rewards. More timeless duel. That's cool. Not going to be locked to Sekima. Is that? So, I don't know what that is. Trials of Sekima? What do you mean? Is there a timeless duel called Sekima or something? Like, does the Trials of Sekima have a timeless duel in there?
Drop is a finger of the Lich. But what use do you have with a random undead finger? Well, the next time you return to the Well of Souls, with the finger in your inventory,
Trial of the Sekima had a... Dude, I never found them. I didn't even know about that. What the fuck?
your character will almost feel compelled. To do what, though, you might ask?
Jump in.
Jump in. The items you threw in came back more powerful, right? So, what's the worst that could happen? Well, you will just have to find that one out for yourself.
That's a boss fight, I'm hoping.
Along with the introduction of Act 4 and the interlude, we will be adding 25 new in-game maps.
They're Omega Giga for stat stackers. Oh, really? I played the Freeze monk and I was blasting.
These maps will contain all the new monsters and bosses we're adding, improving variety and giving you opportunities to experience the new boss fights many times. Let's take a look at some examples. Rock Pools is a map where you explore a shallow rocky coastline, surrounded by coral and filled with sirens.
Want the Keystones convention made
At
it
the
in
end is a
KBS?
giant
Jesus.
goblin king boss, ready to eat sulfite and squish you like a bug.
Well, you were just playing with
Horton
that.
is an Ezomite township which has seen better days. Explore and clear the township to find a gothic, reaper-like boss with the
Oh, it's the
ability
one
to
for
manipulate
PoE1.
storms and fry you with both lightning and wither you with chaos. Given some of the new bosses added are a bit more epic, such as the Act boss and final bosses of each interlude part, it would be a bit of a waste to just use them as regular map bosses.
Oh.
Instead, we'll be adding some new mechanics to the Atlas that use them. These start appearing pretty fast into the endgame and will help bridge the gap until you do your pinnacle bosses.
Oh?
In the desert biome, you can encounter a wild sandstorm. 3 maps around the sandstorm contain a device you must activate. Upon doing this, the sandstorm's magic is disrupted, revealing the map inside and allowing you to access it and find the cause. This presents itself in the form of a boss, similar to the existing Citadel bosses. This boss is a Faradin Swordmaster, who has been blessed with the power of a time gem, allowing him to take his swordsmanship to the next level by replicating himself, maneuvering rapidly, and severing the fabric of time itself with his powerful slashes.
Oh!
In the water biome, you'll encounter a giant maelstrom, where one of the maps surrounding the water biome connects to it, but the connection is obscured. You must run the maps nearby, hoping to find a beacon, which will remove the maelstrom and reveal the connection to that map. Another example
Okay.
is this Vaal vault in the mountain biome. But how do we get inside? Running the adjacent maps to it will yield a key, which you can then use to gain access to this vault. Or, you could just trade for one, I guess. Use the key to dispel the powerful force field surrounding it, leading to the Vaal Elite and their rewards inside. These all contain Uber versions of the Act 4 boss, and the bosses at the end of each part of the interlude. And each have their own exclusive drop pool of new lineage supports, which, as Jonathan spoke about earlier, are powerful support gems that modify your skills in pretty crazy ways. As an example of a lineage support which can come from the Faradin Swordmaster mentioned earlier, we have Garo Khan's Resolve, which causes your critical strikes to fork, but requires some mobility on your part to properly enable.
Okay.
From the boss sealed in the Vaal Vault, we have Paquate's Pact, which supports your war cries, causing them to inflict massive amounts of corrupted blood at the cost of your own life. Additionally, some maps can now spawn summoning circles, a room resembling an Ezomite henge. Activating this henge will spawn bosses. It's as simple as that. We'll also be making changes to how affixes and waystones work. As the current
So exactly,
prefixes
corrupted blood
equals
damage.
good, suffixes equals bad, iteration isn't quite hitting the mark. We tried something new here in Path of Exile 2, but after seeing the feedback we decided we actually liked what we had in Path of Exile 1 more. Like Path of Exile 1, each affix will now be both difficult and rewarding. Waystone mods now grant an increase to the number of waystones dropped, and an additional specific upside attached to it. This means as you roll your map, they will continue to get more difficult and more rewarding, and allow you to customize the difficulty and rewards of your maps better. For example, the Frostbitten mod, which causes enemies to deal cold damage, also increases the rarity of items dropped as its upside. Whereas the Of Venom suffix modifier, which causes enemies to poison on hit, has the upside of granting increased pack size. Some maps will end up having a lot of rarity, some a lot of pack size, and others will just have a mixture of everything. Due to now having more modifiers granting difficulty, we will of course be reducing the difficulty per modifier to account for this. So,
Okay.
that's your Atlas, maps, and waystones. But what about Breach, Ritual, Pinnacle content, and others of the sort?
So the whole like what you're saying with oh god doing more random shitty ass maps in order to do the maps you want to do. You do that in PoE 1 as well. Right? Like you do to at least to an extent. It's just in PoE 1 you can always pick your like no and it's also a different way in PoE 1, right? Because if I let's say I want to do the Uber. I want to do Uber Elder, right? Uber Elder is what I want to do. That means I need to do Fortress tier 17, right? And in order to do tier 17 Fortress, that means I have to do Dunes, right? So I have to do Dunes then. But I can just do Dunes. And I can decide, okay, so I'm doing Dunes. I want to do Breach. And I pop a bunch of Breach in and I blast. Here, it feels a lot less targeted, which is the problem. Because you have to just randomly go in a direction and hope to God you find the Vaal place and not the water place or the sand place. Right? So you don't control what you're doing on the way, but you can't even target where you're going either. It's like, I would like to do mountain biomes. Well, find the mountains And once you've done the mountains you've found, now you need to find a new mountain. And is that then through the water zone to the next island? Or is that then through the desert biome? Or do I have to go through the forest biome? Right? Like, I do think that the PoE 2 Atlas is much, much cooler than the PoE 1 Atlas. And honestly, I really love it on paper. But for a game that requires you to run hundreds, if not thousands of maps, it doesn't really work, does it?
We're making some changes around this too. The first change is that you'll now be able to invest 2 points into your specific League Atlas trees before having to run the Pinnacle content.
That's really good.
There will be a specific objective for each type of content which grants you those points. For example, in the case of Delirium, it's simple. You just need to find and kill one of the bosses in a map, Omniophobia or Kosis. The rest of the points for each content come from the Pinnacle content, but we're making some changes to accessibility here too. Currently, access to most Pinnacle content requires the same key at the easiest.
More movement and smaller maps would make it less ass. Well, you have more movement now, right? You got sprinting, and there's no cooldown on... You got sprinting now, right? So that's going to make you move faster. And then I think they removed the cooldown on at least shield thing as well, right? Shield smash, shield charge.
And most difficult version of the content. This creates a negative feeling where at lower difficulties, instead of wanting to run the content, you're often better off just selling it to someone who can run it at maximum difficulty. To address this, each content will now drop splinters, which will not form into singular items. Instead of using the singular combined item in the realm gate, you can now just bring your splinters. Upon inserting the splinters into the realm gate, an interface will appear, allowing you to pick your difficulty, and you'll notice each difficulty has a different entry cost.
That's pretty good.
This means if you want to run easier difficulties, it costs less, which also allows you to run this content much sooner into the endgame.
That also means that they can then reduce the amount based on the economy. This is a good change. It didn't matter to me because I played SSF. I didn't trade, so I didn't care. But it's a good change for trade.
Because these encounters now just require...
You being able to do it much earlier, really good. No longer a stupid high upfront cost to get your Atlas done if you come late into trade. Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, it's really good. They could have done it by just making the... they could have done it by just having a higher drop chance, right? Like, but this is fine. If you just make it less rare, then the price will drop down. But this is better. Because now you can also drop down the required amount. So you have 2 knobs to tune with rather than this keeps them valuable. Yeah, but I mean, if you keep them valuable, then the early entry is going to be expensive as well, right? Like, yeah, okay, sure. If it costs you 200 to get the last guy, right? If it cost you 200 to go into the last area, let's say that's 20 exalts, yeah? But it only costs you 50 to get into the first one. That's still 5 exalts then, right? So yeah. But it gives them 2 tuning knobs, which is always good.
Splinters, their corresponding Atlas tree no longer affects the difficulty of them, and has been changed to purely affect the content and maps on the Atlas.
Wait, what?
The Arbiter of Ash now just require splinters. Their corresponding Atlas tree no longer affects the difficulty of them, and has been changed to purely affect the content and maps on the Atlas. The Arbiter of Ash works a bit differently. Instead of requiring splinters, he still needs crisis fragments. We now have only 2 difficulties of the Arbiter. The first, requiring the existing fragments obtained from citadels. The second, Uber Arbiter, requires calamity fragments. These come from citadel bosses also, but only once you've allocated the maximum number of points in your boss Atlas tree. ensuring those citadels are at their highest difficulty level. Since we're talking about pinnacle content, we also felt that the leveling curve in the late game was a bit too steep. We've smoothed this out a bit so that it's easier to get to the mid-90s. We've also added some new in-game unique items. Let's...
Wait, but isn't this just gonna mean that you don't do... Isn't this just gonna mean that you don't do the fucking... you don't do the strongholds now? Unless you have maximum amount... Didn't they just have this issue for the other ones and fixed it, and now introduced it to the Arbiter? Well, no, because it was already that issue with the Arbiter, wasn't it? So now you feel stupid for fighting the Arbiter until he's max level. So you won't be fighting Pinnacle Arbiter. You'll only be fighting Uber Arbiter. Because, actually getting the strongholds is a pain in the dick. Arbiter's probably cheaper now. You think so? It's strongholds that gets fucked by this? But bro, like, nobody's gonna do the strongholds until their boss tree is maxed out. And because nobody's doing it, it'll be a way to make money if people want to fight it, I guess. It'll be super niche. So just getting standard Arbiter is going to be super expensive, no? And then everybody's just... Isn't this exactly what happened in PoE 1? When fragments were used for both Pinnacle and Uber bosses? Isn't that why they added tier 17s? Gonna miss how ass shit players are, so people will probably just run them normal anyways. Yeah, but will they then sell it? I'm just thinking, this is... I feel like... I get WoW flashbacks here, whereas like you spent an entire expansion learning things you did wrong to then start over the next expansion with all the things you did wrong in the previous expansion, having to then relearn all the things you did wrong that you should have already learned. I feel like this is exactly what was happening in PoE 1. Might have the max tier just also give normal frags. That'll fix it. Yeah, that would fix it. That would make normal Arbiter free to go for. Or just be RNG if it gives good bad frags or bad frags. See, that sounds bad. Because now you're taking some deterministic... Like, summoning the Arbiter is deterministic as soon as you find the strongholds, right? If you then have to be like, oh, I hope this copper stronghold drops me a big fragment, you're gonna be fucking sad when it doesn't. That sounds bad. I think the other one was better. Just make regular Arbiter fucking free. Basically. Because the strongholds are still rare, right? You have to do like at least... What did they say? They wanted it to be like 30 maps before you found a stronghold or something? Did they reduce it down from like something? I think it was 30, right? I think they said that you should be doing this every 30-ish maps. That's the rarity they're shooting for. But every 30 maps is still very rare. Or not very, it's still rare. Like, it still takes, like 30 maps takes a lot, right? Didn't you need a stronghold completion for max tier normal boss? Maybe you do. Maybe you do. I don't know. I don't remember.
Take a look at a couple. Thunderfist is a pair of gloves that grants Crackling Palm, a skill which empowers your unarmed attacks, granting the ability to call down the storms themselves on enemies you hit. Put simply, literally every monster you hit with your unarmed skills will be struck by powerful lightning.
Oh, let's go.
Pair this with the aforementioned Hollow Palm technique to embrace your true unarmed prowess in combat. Another unique we're adding...
Right now I'm playing Sorcerer, infusion sorcerer, or I'm playing unarmed monk. It's one of those two. I think it's sorcerer.
Sight. Equip this amulet to be granted the power of the Mother of Death herself. This is reflected by granting you a skill called Foresight.
Grant each of Hindsight, Foresight, and Sight Beyond Sight in sequence. Hindsight lasts 17 turns. Foresight prevents dodge roll from avoiding hits and lasts until immediately before you are hit while dodge rolling. Sight Beyond Sight makes you unable to die and lasts for a 1.5 second duration. What? Hinekora observes your future past, granting you the opportunity to subvert as a lot of fate. After a period of hindsight, she will grant you her foresight, which prevents you from avoiding hits while dodge rolling. When you are hit while dodge rolling, Hinekora restores you to full life immediately before taking damage from the hit and grants you sight, which prevents you from dying.
While you have Foresight, your dodge roll no longer avoids hits. But instead, being hit while dodge rolling restores you to full life and makes you unable to die for a brief period of time. You'll notice when this does occur, a copy of your character appears and takes the full damage. This is you seeing that future, as if you hadn't been wearing the amulet. Ultimately, your endgame experience should be more streamlined. With new content to find, you'll be able to invest in your Atlas trees sooner, engage with pinnacle content faster, have less FOMO running said pinnacle content, reach higher levels easier, and do all of that while finding many new chase endgame items. Talking about finding items is one thing, but what about crafting them?
Let's go.
We've taken a step back and looked at some of our crafting systems to make some notable improvements.
Come on.
Let's start with
Deterministic.
essences, which suffered from an issue where the regular essences were effectively useless and didn't give players the tools or excitement that a crafting system should provide.
Yeah.
To alleviate these concerns, essences are being changed in a few ways.
Okay.
Firstly, they're being changed to function like regals and add specific modifiers with specific values, meaning you know exactly what you're going to get. We found that players were often bottlenecked by regal orbs when crafting in the campaign, so this helps to fill that gap, allowing you to better upgrade your items.
Okay. I was never
For
bottlenecked,
example,
but...
this Lesser Essence of Flames, which will be able to add a flat amount of fire damage to your magic martial weapons. Secondly, we're adding many more tiers. That Lesser Essence of Flames, for example, has a regular variant and a greater variant too, adding even more fire damage with each upgrade. The intention of this is so that when you find one early on, you don't worry about holding onto it till later to use on a higher level item. You should feel free to use them as they come to get powerful upgrades during the campaign.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Lastly, our highest tier of essences, now called Perfect Essences, will function like a Chaos Orb instead of a Regal. So it will replace one of the modifiers on your rare items with the specified mod. Such as this Perfect Essence of Flames.
Okay.
You'll notice this one doesn't just add flat fire damage like the ones before it. The Perfect Essences often give something a bit different, with some opportunities to be pretty damn powerful.
They just keep tossing new shit on a kind of fundamentally flawed endgame system, so it still kind of ends up meh. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if that is the way you see it, then yes. The way they see it is they got something that will work with more content, right? So the question is which one is right. So full disclosure, I'm an idiot, yeah? This is the first season in PoE 1 I ever used favorite maps. So I've always just been running random fucking maps. Whereas now I'm got a full stash tab of dunes and a quad tab that's like quarter full of dunes. But I do like the... They said they're redoing the endgame. They just didn't make it for 0.3. Okay. I wonder what they're going to do, though. Because they've put a lot of effort into this map traversing thing, and I would honestly be sort of sad to see it go. But at the same time, the question is how much would they have to like kind of just ruin it completely in order to... Would they have to just ruin it completely in order to... They would, wouldn't they, in order to fix it? Because one of the things is when the different biomes have different drops and different bonuses on the... Like, it's one thing that they can just... They can take all of the content. They can take all the content off the towers, right? And just put it into the Atlas talent tree like they do in PoE 1, right? They can do that. That's kind of easy. But then all of a sudden, the towers are just kind of free, right? Like, what's the point? You can see... honestly, I think still, if you can just see further with the towers, the way it works right now, that's a good enough reason to go for a tower, right? If you then take all the content and put it into the tree, then you could use the towers as sort of scarabs, I guess. You could use the towers as scarabs, right? Which is kind of what you're doing now, but it's just not deterministic, right? The towers right now, you kind of use as scarabs, but it's just, you don't get to pick. I'm going to put it on these. Now, if you make it so that they are actively scarabs, and it's just like you put them in, and then it just works on all the maps, as long as you have scarabs, then that makes those double overlaps even more impactful. So now you're hunting for those again. And just have towers be revealed. Maybe some might have used to prevent them from overlapping. Yeah, the overlap needs to stop. Because otherwise it becomes just a hunt for overlaps, right? Like, they made it so that there's no more triple overlaps, but there's still double overlaps, right? That's still a thing. Frequently. I think a straight 1-to-1 port of the PoE 1 game would be sad. True. I agree with that one. Forcing you to run around I don't think forcing you to run around finding towers is bad. I think the fact that until you find a tower, the maps are ass is bad, right? That's the problem. So but there's no real way to fix that. Well, I mean, I guess... Have towers be a big reveal and big fight. Could be cool, kind of like citadels, and just remove the map juicing from them entirely. Yeah, so yeah, okay, but let's say then that we take that approach. The towers just reveal, right? For the towers reveal to be meaningful, you still have to search for shit, right? Then you need to keep the citadels. You need to keep these new like maelstrom thingies, and that in itself is also kind of ass, right? Or am I wrong? But I guess if you make an itemized version of that, it would be fine. So let's say you can run around and fight strongholds, but you can also get this special waystone that just turns the map into a stronghold. So you could do it deterministically. You can trade for it if you want. Kind of like Guardian maps in PoE 1. But you can also just find them randomly. The way you're supposed to, kind of. So that you can, if you want, chain strongholds back to back. And you can, let's say I just need... think like blank slots, you can slot special content would be cool. Like the Citadel mainstream. Do you reckon just making a unique waystone with like a moderately not super rare drop chance would fix it? Like similar to Guardian maps. And then, but again, if you make it a specific map, then you have to find that as well, right? It's more searching. And basically what you want to do is be able to just do what you want. So maybe a unique waystone that's like, yeah, boss is replaced with Faradun guy or whatever. Because I think their map generation is maybe not. Just make it pretty common. I think I'd prefer map drop RNG over find the map on the Atlas RNG. Well, yeah, but you don't have to have either or, right? You could have the special waystone that'll just turn anything into the stronghold, but you could also have them on the map. So you keep that exploration, you keep searching for it, but if you want, you can just force it. Just make it pretty common. I think I prefer map drop RNG over find the map on the Atlas RNG. I don't know. I think it would be a good idea with the unique maps that you could just, yeah, this is the Copper Stronghold map, this is Waystone, this is the Silver Waystone, whatever, right? And it just, whenever you start it, it's just, oh, now he's here. Because I think that's one of, like, especially fucking the King in the Mist, right? Like, he's basically impossible to find. And you need to fight, or you needed to fight him 4 times. I would like the PoE 1 Atlas passive back. I don't like applying them to the maps with the towers, because it feels like every time up to a tower feels like ass, and then I need a certain item to then make the maps in that area not ass. So I need to get to 2 towers, play like 8 or 12 maps of ass, then have, what is it, 4 or 3 of these the plates or whatever it is, right? Pop them in to both maps, hope they land the way I want, and then run those maps that are then good. And then I have really good gameplay for a while, but now I'm done. Or maybe I get fucking unlucky and it lands on all the wrong shit. So now I just have a 2 towers worth of ass rather than 2 towers worth of pog. But yeah, I don't know.
Many different essences, each with many tiers, covering many of the more core modifiers you'd want on items early on, through to chase specialized ones for in-game. Speaking of in-game, we really wanted to expand our crafting options for late in-game crafting projects.
Let's go.
You might have noticed that at in-game, you get way too many transmutes. Wouldn't it be nice if some of those didn't drop, but instead you got something a little more powerful?
The Greater Orb of Transmutation.
At higher levels, you can now find Greater Orb of Transmutation and Perfect Orb of Transmutation. These can be used on normal items to upgrade them to magic, ensuring that the modifier generated is of a minimum level. This is similar to how you find higher tier items on the ground, but for crafting. These higher tiers will also exist for Orb of Augmentation, Regal Orb, Exalted Orb, and Chaos Orb, meaning you can get all of the orbs required to take your item from normal rarity to a fully completed rare with guaranteed high tier mods. On top of these new core crafting currencies, we wanted to make sure there are
It's definitely better. Don't like that it all goes off mod level instead of mod tier. There's a bunch of good shit that's low mod level. What do you mean? So +1 level of all skills or +2 level of all skills? I can't get those, for instance. Is that what you're talking about? Because there's only 2 of them, so they're low tier. I don't think they'd be stupid enough for that to be the case. Tiered items work like that for... Oh, really? Then maybe... Well, if you said they work like that for a while, then I don't think they'd be stupid enough to repeat that mistake, right?
powerful crafting bases to use them on. Now in endgame, you can start to find exceptional items. These are items that drop at normal rarity and are perfect for your from-scratch crafting projects. They can come with extra quality, up to 30%, or an additional socket to use your crafting socketables in. And yes, they can be corrupted for yet another socket.
Oh, wow.
You can also get exceptional unique items.
What?
To add even further to your crafting arsenal, we've added a whole...
Bro, this is... I'm sorry, this is D3 stuff. It's like you can get an item. Oh, but you could get an ancient item. And you can get a primal ancient item. So now you need to find... Oh, this... I don't like this. I don't like this. Now you have to find... This is so RNG. You have to find an exceptional item with an additional item slot or socket. Or quality, whichever's the best, but probably socket, right? Then you need to RNG your way to good mods. And then preferably also corrupt it for an extra socket. And there's none of this I can control. There's none of this I can make easier. I can't go and do... I can't scour it, so I only have one shot. Unless they add a scouring orb, but I think they said they don't want that. Dude, this is ass. In a world where there's no scouring orbs, this is ass. Unless they are really common.
Suite of new omens to ritual content, and removed some of the more unimpactful ones that weren't being used. Some of the new omens include the Omen of the Ancients, which will cause your next Orb of Chance to not destroy the item, but generate a random unique of the same class. Or the Omen of Sanctification, which is my new favorite. This will cause your next Divine Orb used on a rare item to reroll the values of its modifiers, allowing it to exceed the normal minimum and maximum values, raising the ceiling on the new most powerful rare items in the game. This omen will also cause your item to become sanctified. Sanctified items cannot be crafted, just like corrupted ones, so consider carefully when you use this. Another is the Omen of Chaotic Monsters, which will cause your next Chaos Orb to reroll all modifiers on a Waystone, allowing you to fix your maps if you get some modifiers that are not feasible for your build. Besides these examples, There is a huge variety of new omens for you to discover in your ritual encounters. With the
Does this mean you can't mirror? I think so. It says can't craft, right? I'd assume it's the same as a... Well, can you mirror a corrupted item? Because then you can mirror a sanctified. Because he said it was like corrupted. The fuck's the point then? Well, the point is to make more powerful items, right? You get your item, it's really good, and now you can roll it up to 120% of what it was, right? That's the point of it. It's just more gamba. It's something you'll use like once or twice, right? Just sell it for a mirror.
release of Act 4, notably taking place in the Karuri archipelago, you'll be able to now find a new currency item, Henikora's Lock. Henikora, the Karuri goddess of death, has the power of foresight and is able to see many futures, including the outcome of your next craft. So, imbuing her lock onto an item gives you that same power too. For example, you'll know whether or not to use an Exalted Orb on your item, as you will know exactly what the outcome is. So, with all these new crafting improvements, it's safe to say you're going to be making some epic items, and not necessarily just ones for yourself. So given that, it's time...
This is still all RNG. They just made it a little bit less. This was not what I hoped for. It's better. I think the exceptional bases are ass. Like, dude, you finally find the exceptional base, right? You put a fucking greater orb of whatever on it. It upgrades to magic. Yeah, you get fire damage. Oh, crap. Like, I have my weapon. I need physical damage, right? Upgrade it with greater whatever. Is it transmutation? Fire damage. Yay. I upgraded with a greater, or so perfect, sorry, we're doing perfect. A perfect fucking ultra whatever. The one that upgrades it with an extra tier for, and I get stun thresholders. I get fucking stun duration. It's like, okay, now this Giga Rare base I just found is just useless. And I can't scour it. If they're gonna have shit like that and full RNG, you need to let me scour. I mean, the Sanctified thing, the Omen is probably Omega Rare, so who cares?
Time to talk about a massive one. Trade.
Also, the mirrors being worthless, I don't think so. Because with how hard it is to actually get a good item in this game, especially now with the exceptional bases, nobody's gonna fucking use that thing until they landed it twice, right? And if they landed it twice, it's one of those things where if all of your items are good enough that realistically any more currency, if the Gigabyss items can no longer be mirrors therefore, and no, I don't think so, because I don't think you will do the Gigabyss mirror item I don't think so, because if these Gigabyss items, right, they're gonna be super rare. For starters, you need an exceptional base with an extra socket probably. You then need to hit 6 good high tier modifiers, which is easier now than it was before, sure. And then you need to have this in every single item slot, I think, before realistically you're at a point where it makes sense to then start sanctifying items, right? Most mirror items aren't a full 20% better than like a kind of base item to be. Well, no, but it could also be 80%, right? You can't just coin flip your way to better than mirror item. True, true. But it still has to be up there, right? The difference between tier 1 and tier 2 increased physical damage is probably more than the 20%, right? Or is it only 10? It still doesn't matter because you'd still have to win the coin flip, right? It's between 80% and 120. So you're just as likely to make it worse as you are making it better, which is why you probably want to be in a position where all your items are so good that the only realistic upgrades or only like somewhat upgradable things come from the sanctified shit, right? So you're going to you need to wear mirror tier items or perfect items or great items, uniques, whatever, in every single slot, right? Maybe I'm just too deep to PoE, but I kind of just don't like the best rare items not being mirrorable. I mean, I kind of do, if I'm being honest. Because it forces you to craft yourself. Kinda. You can't just buy a character and you have the best character in the game. Well, you can when people start selling them, right? But then they'll just be omega expensive, right? It's one of those things where with mirroring an item, you can get makes best rare items way pricier. Yeah, but it probably I'd imagine that it keeps the mirror items the same, basically. Well, maybe a little less valuable because there's something that's better. But I think the use of them will be the same. I think most of the people that is going to use mirror tier items, you think it drops mirror price a bit? Yeah, it might drop the mirror price a little bit. The way I see it is you're not gonna sanctify anything until you have. Can you even double corrupt in PoE 1? Until if you can double, I think there's an omen, right? It just, to me, that sanctify omen is something you use once you have mirror tier in every slot and double corrupted uniques and whatever, right? Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you can't guarantee yourself bis, right? And that feels bad from like you want to optimize, right? That's the thing. Because you can't just buy the perfect item anymore. Because the perfect item you have to create yourself or buy. Well, you can buy the perfect item, but you can't just mirror the perfect item. You can't just spawn more perfect items into existence. The perfect item has to be crafted from scratch. The perfect item, the base has to be found. It has to be crafted from scratch until you get the perfect item. You can't just spawn more into existence like you can with mirrors. So BIS becomes far more unobtainable. Which I think, honestly, I think is what they want.
It's finally here. The moment we've all been waiting for. Fully asynchronous trade.
Let's go.
Over the years, the way players trade with each other in Path of Exile 1 has morphed from using the forums, through to the in-game chat, all the way through to using the website. These systems, in all their iterations, work for a while, but with each iteration, new problems eventually reveal themselves. Be it requiring you to be in your hideout too much instead of out there killing monsters,
Yes.
or never getting responses from people who are either
Yes.
AFK or just can't be bothered.
Yes.
In order to finally solve this, and this has been a long time coming, we're adding a new system that allows you to buy items from other players without requiring the seller to be present. They can continue farming, killing monsters, AFK as they please, and can even be offline.
Let's
With the
fucking
introduction
go.
of King's March in Act 4, you will encounter Ange, assistant to Rog in the Meridian Free Traders Company. Over the last 2 decades or so, since Path of Exile 1's storyline, Faustus has handed down his knowledge and expertise to Ange, and she is now ready to take over his business. If you have a hideout unlocked already, you can
It's
immediately invite her there.
massive, Blitz.
If you don't have
This takes everything I fucking hate about trade and removes it. Now the only thing about trade I dislike is that I'm not forced to find... It's the lack of dopamine from finding the item, from crafting the item. But now the dopamine can be transferred more easily to just finding good shit and selling it, making currency so I can buy the good shit without having to deal with the fucking bullshit that makes me not want to do that. If this comes to PoE 1, I'm playing trade. It's massive.
a hideout yet, you will need to acquire one. You can do this by completing a quest to defeat one of the bosses inhabiting an island in Act 4, allowing you then to take a slice of it for yourself, making it your new home and base of operations.
We get a hideout, let's go.
Once invited to your hideout, she will now serve as operating your currency exchange, but also serve as the figurehead in your new trading empire. So, how does this new system work? In the existing trade system, you would list items for sale in premium stash tabs. And then when someone wanted one, you'd have to take it out for yourself and trade it to them. Now, instead of using those, you can give your items to Ange so she can sell them for you. Each item must have a price set. The prices are set using in-game currency items, such as Exalted Orbs or Chaos Orbs. Once a price is set, other players will be able to find the item by searching for it on the trade website. Once a desired item has been found, you can hit a button, which will instantly teleport your character in-game to their hideout. Then, you can immediately purchase the item, and while there, if you want, browse their other goods, in case there's a good deal someone else hasn't yet discovered. You'll notice that as a buyer, on top of the currency the seller set for the price, it also costs gold to purchase an item, as Ange has bills to pay after all. As a seller, you'll immediately receive a notification when an item of yours is sold, and can also see an effect above Ange in your hideout when she has unclaimed currency. Just go talk to her, claim your currency, and continue playing at your leisure.
I hope the currency also sorts into your currency tab when they get this sorted, rather than this shit.
As many people already acquired premium stash tabs for the purpose of the trade system, we wanted to add a way for you to convert your existing tabs to merchants tabs, if you want. You can do that here, on the website, but only if you purchase those tabs before the release of the Third Edict. To clarify, the existing trade system will remain fully intact, so your premium stash tabs will not lose any of their functionality. We just figured people might want to switch over to this new system. We expect a lot of feedback around this new system and are looking forward to trying it out with you. As we are not able to test it.
One thing I don't like about this is that it quickly becomes a way to monetize extra shit. Because now instead of you just assigning a tab, it has to be upgraded to a merchant tab, right? So now you have to buy upgrades to merchant tabs. And also, then it's a merchant's tab. Then I can't use it for anything else. I could just put it in there and ask people to pay me 5 mirrors for it, right? It already had to, yeah, but now you have to upgrade it again. Right? You think the pricing will be the same? Yeah, maybe. But it's like, if they're letting you convert premiums, yeah. It's just, bro, really? Really? Also, yeah, it's a little bit scummy, I think. But yeah, it's definitely just buy more tabs.
Internally, with an entire thriving economy, there will certainly be some kinks to work out. Based on how the system goes, we will be adding it to Path of Exile 1 when ready, so any of the tabs you purchase will also be usable there later. Next up, we're going to be talking about our new supporter pack.
Games can functionally pay to win by proxy for tabs. Yeah. Like the tabs are a pay to win system, but it's very limited. You do not, like, after a certain point, you do not get better at the game by having more tabs, right? Like, it's just like after a certain amount of tabs, it's just fucking clutter, right? It just adds bullshit you don't need. Like, if you spend 30 euros and you buy the stash tabs on sale, you're likely set, right? Yeah, from 30 to 40, something like that, probably.
Today, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs.
Okay.
The Justice and Trathan Executioner packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions.
Is it just me or those armor sets aggressively mid? You can't convert quad tabs? Really? It has to be regular tabs? That makes sense because quad tabs are kind of hard to... They're very detailed. Yeah, but they're super mid. Right? Like, they're not cool at all. Although I do like the, like, Roman Centurion kind of vibe the right one gives, but the helmet ruins it. You turn that thing sideways and put some Sparta, like, feather hairish thing on it instead, and it's dope. The PoE 1 challenge set is fucking peak, by the way, in PoE 2. Nice. I got it. I'm proud. I think not being able to convert quad tabs is both annoying but also makes sense. Dude, imagine did you have to go buy something? Now, obviously, it can have a regex, right? So it can just highlight in purple like it does in PoE 1, probably. I've never traded anything in PoE 2, so I don't know if that's the way it works, right? But imagine trying to find a ring in a quad tab. Right? Because the problem with the quad tab is because it's so big, it has to make it makes the smaller ones, like it makes all the icons smaller. The League supporter packs are kind of always meh. It's always the yearly ones that are peak. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I think for the I started in Tree Butthole League. What the fuck's it called? What was the Tree Butthole League called? Where you have to crawl into the dirty butthole of the tree. Wildwood. Affliction? Affliction. And the supporter pack there was really good. Like the Elemencer. His armor was really cool. And then, was it the one after where you got the fucking turtle? I had to get the turtle. I had to get the turtle. But yeah, these are super mid, I think.
As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not
The
affect
imps,
your character's
demon,
power
whatever they
or
are, might be fun if it's a
progression in any
game.
way.
Because they're clearly playing
The
a game.
Justice series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
Is that a portal?
Claim glory after defeating enemies,
No.
or inspire your
No, it is
allies
a portal.
by calling down the Banner of Justice portal.
I like that one. That's cool.
The Sphinx Mystic hideout decoration will identify items for you, displaying them as it does so. This ancient creature has been presented with many items over the eons, so has
What?
some strong expressions to make on the quality of your wares.
Oh, that's cool.
Become a true warrior, worthy of delivering the justice of the eternal gods, with the Apostle of Justice armor set.
Off with the
This
helmet,
armor
it
set
might look
also
okay.
comes with a matching back attachment containing a set of scales to measure your worth. With the Apostle of Justice finisher effect equipped, the Goddess of Justice herself will appear to decide on a verdict for slain unique enemies. Witness as she decides the fate of your slain foes. Will they ascend to be amongst the gods or be banished to the underworld? The Griffin fledgling pet will be a courageous companion as you journey throughout Rayclast. Take your place in the skies in the Plateau of the Gods hideout. This hideout comes with many different sections for setting up your home or base of operations. In order to travel between them, you simply just need to walk off the edge.
Oh,
Like a true
shit.
eternal god, you can float between the mountains on the clouds themselves. The Trathan Executioner pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. The
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I like the turtle much
in
more.
the Plateau of the Gods hideout.
But like, this portal is dope. This is cool. I always think these things are fun. Like, there's some that have like that whenever they use linking currency, whatever it's called. I can't remember. Fucking when it highlights over their head, so you can kind of see it. Like, that's really cool. This guy is one of the guys that crawled into the abyss pit, right? It's really cool that if he has like things to say or show whenever he does things. The armor is, take the helmet off, I think is really cool. The scale, if that actually shows something, it's cool. I kind of like the finisher effect, although I'm not much for those.
The Goddess of Justice herself will appear
Like,
to decide on a verdict for slain unique enemies.
That's
Witness
really
as
cool.
She decides the fate of your slain foes. Will they ascend to be amongst the gods or be banished to the underworld? The Griffin fledgling pet will be a courageous companion as you journey throughout Rayclast. Take your place in the skies in the Plateau of the Gods hideout. This hideout comes with many different sections for setting up your home or base of operations. In order
This
to
is
travel
really
between
cool.
them, you simply just need to walk off the edge. Like a true eternal god, you can float between the mountains on the clouds themselves. The Trathan Executioner pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
instant to no snow druid. Yeah, there was no class, which is very disappointing. But there are a lot of there is enough class balancing and skill balancing, like skill changes, that I'm excited to go again. Like they're adding a bunch of new functionality to the sorcerers, which I'm probably gonna play, and some new to the monk that I could consider. I think there's enough for me to be interested. 100% Veritania Arena. I don't know what that is actually. Recolored. It's little gold variants of Veritania in that one bit of the hideouts. You'd put money on it having this zoom out.
Trathan Executioner Finisher Effect is a brutal display of Trathan might, crushing slain unique enemies as if they were bugs beneath your heel. As a Trathan...
That's kinda... what's it called? That reminds me of the Rising of the Shield Hero anime. The Elder Slayer Cold Girl. Oh, right. Oh, yeah, true.
An executioner, you're the perfect master for the ever-hungry carrion raptor pet. It has taken a particular liking to the taste of other pets, and at your command it will swoop down and eviscerate them, proceeding to satisfy its hunger by feeding on their corpse. The nobles of the 4 major Trathan houses had their mercenaries, but if their hired hands became notably irritating, they'd have to call in the Trathan Executioners.
Okay, again.
You can now embrace...
This armor looks really cool without the helmet. Pay to win pet kills all the fucking goblins. I wonder how long it takes for your pet to respawn, because it's sure as fuck not just gonna be removed.
And become brutality incarnate with the Cruel Trathan Executioner armor set. The matching Cruel Trathan Executioner cloak will shroud you in scarlet as you crush the skulls of your enemies and leave a trail of blood behind you as you build up a kill streak. Or use the alternate variant to simply put a skeleton on your back.
But
Be
why?
bathed in blood as you mutilate monsters with the Cruel Trathan Executioner character effect. The swirling blood increases in volume as your spree of slaughter continues. Both this effect and the cloak use the same kill streak for tracking how much blood is shown. After a long and tiring day of executions, enjoy a relaxing game of dice with the Goblin Gambler's Hideout decoration. They'll definitely be playing fair, right?
Oh, okay, that's boring.
The Pulverizer map device brings a horrid efficiency to punishing the damned of Trathus. Each map you open will execute the next victims. This map device in its true ruthlessness tracks the total number of monsters killed, your kills per second, and your largest kill streak up to the point of the map being completed. This is then displayed on a leaderboard, so you can take a measure of you and your friends' violence at the end of each map.
That's really cool.
Additionally, any microtransactions from the supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 1.
Killswitch interaction is cool. Yeah, the timer shit is really cool.
Pulverizer map device brings a horrid efficiency to punishing the damned of Trathus.
I like that there's a
Each map you
leaderboard.
open will execute the next victims. This map device in its true ruthlessness tracks the total number of monsters killed, your kills per second, and your largest kill streak up to the point of the map being completed. This is then displayed on a leaderboard, so you can take a measure of you and your friends' violence at the end of each map. Additionally, any microtransactions from the supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 1.
That is really, really good.
Launches on the 29th. We'll be having a free weekend for Path of Exile 2.
Where was this? Let's see, I think the normal magic rare monster kill portal might be better. The normal magic rare monster kill portal. I don't know what that is. This is a better device than the old timer for sure. Yeah. The server crashing is gonna suck. All classes buffed, it says. There's a portal that tracks kills of normal magic rare monsters in the map. Oh, right. So this... But this only tracks... It seemed like it only tracked the total monster kills, right? As well as the timer. But I think the leaderboard is really cool. Now, I wonder if the leaderboard is based on time or kills per second or just whatever, right? The leaderboard is from your party? No, you said friends. Yeah, friends list. I think he said friends. That's really cool. I don't think it's enough for me to want to buy it. Because as far as I could understand, it's 90 euros. And that is a crap load. So yeah, probably not gonna... It's like... If you could mix and match yourself, pick one from each tier, right? I'd pick the portal from the Justice. I'd pick the... What was the second one in the Justice thing? The question is whether or not the gamble one is the same as the identify one. But I'd pick the identify over the gamble. The pet... I mean, the only reason I would even consider picking the... Oh, but there was the pet versus the portal, right? What was the other things? There's the armor sets. They're obviously the same. I don't know, a coin flip for me. But I'd pick the map device over the hideout because I have the turtle. And the turtle is way cooler than anything else I've seen. The only thing that can possibly compete with the turtle is the Atlas. Yeah, the only thing in the second pack that is definitely cooler is the map device. And I'm just not prepared to pay fucking 90 euros for a map device. It's like actually useful outside of looking pretty. Yeah, if you care about tracking your time, right? I feel like the value of the packs have gone down. Is it just me? Or am I just remembering? Maybe it's just because I've only done the year one. I guess the turtle wasn't a year one, but the first one I did was a year one, I think. Yeah, because every single tier had an armor set, right? That's probably the yearly ones, right? The MTX in each pack is similar. Jokes on them, I can do those calculations in my head. Yeah, I can't because it takes too long for me to do a map and I forget what I forget to keep track. The yearly ones are always way better. And are they like January, December, or when do they... I'm not doing this one. Value's not good enough. The armors would have needed to look really good, and they don't. And it's like you can't just hide the helmet because then it'll show your actual helmet and they look ass. Yeah, so December, January, whenever the league is. Do you reckon it's going to be PoE 1 or PoE 2? Or do you reckon they're going to fire off two different ones? In no way you're paying 90 to... No, exactly. I mean, so the thing is, they do these things every once in a while, right? Where they add a supporter pack and they add something to that supporter pack that is useful for your character, like tracking the time in map. Now, tracking the time in map is not terrible, right? Like it's a decent information to have, but you can't do it with a stopwatch, right? It's just nice quality of life to have it. So there's value in it if you really want to go into the nitty-gritty. And the same can be said for there's the one that tracks how much currency you've picked up from the ground, right? That's a thing. That's pretty useful. There's already a timed map device, and that's not a supporter pack. Oh, I thought it was a supporter pack that was gone. You think it's in a mystery pack now? Well, that is expensive, right? Mystery packs are insanely expensive. You understand it brings value to casual player. Yeah, but one thing you got to remember is if you're a new player, right? These are the GGG fun bucks, right? These are the things you need to buy stash tabs with. So if you are a new player, you will need probably only 300 of them. Maybe now with the change, you'll need 400 of them, right? My brain. And whenever you buy a supporter pack, if you buy a supporter pack for this is $90, right? Or 90 euros, you'll get 900 points. If you go to the store and you just want to buy points, it'll cost you 90 euros to get 900 points. So you should always buy a supporter pack when you're deciding that you're going to play the game. Just one. It's kind of like paying for the game, but you have the free to play to figure out if it's what you want, right? But yeah, I mean, the game costs like 30 euros to play. And I guess 40 now with the mercenary. 30 to 500-ish minimum, or you'd be like, you're spending 2,000 tabs. Well, I mean, if you play this game and you play it more than anything else, right, and you've played it for a long time, it would make sense that you have a lot of fucking things, right? If the yearly ones are big value, right, it would make sense if you spend like 30, 60, 90, even 120 euros a year, right? Most people in the Western world can do that. Usually buy like a tier 2 of the yellow pack. Exactly. Like a tier 2, a tier 3, whatever, right? Like which is 60 to 100. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Whichever price range they are. You also need your skill MTX if you like a skill. Those fuckers are pricey. Yeah, I don't care about that at all. The only thing I care about a little bit is my character not looking like ass. And I have enough different things. I have one that I like for elemental. I have one now I like for melee. You need a herald effect? Covenant mandated. I don't care. I really don't care. I don't give a shit. I just don't care. Pretty explosions? Yeah, I don't care. I think the explosions are fine as they are. Especially in PoE 2. Spent 130 on magic cards in the last month, so you gotta chill for a little bit, or we might get upset. Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the hobby, right? And obviously you can't just drop 130 on everything you like, but in the grand scheme of things, 130 if you don't do it every month is not a big deal, right? Skill MTX is a pay to see and pay to go blind. Yeah, a lot of the skill MTX is pay to lose. It's just pay to lose. Because you simply cannot see the fucking you cannot see what's around you. I want to see the skeleton boy again. That's not what I meant. Sorry, Jonathan, I mean.
Going to spoil too much here.
Oh, it was before this.
There's a huge amount to show, but we're not going to spoil too much here.
Okay.
We want to give you...
Yama sees your soul!
There are 8 islands to discover, each teeming with its own flora and fauna. Act 4 contains over 100 new monster types, 16 new areas, 12 new bosses, and plenty of other interesting
And by interesting, he means titties.
encounters.
This thing is so fucking cool.
There's a huge amount to show.
Oops, that's not good. It reminds me of have you guys played this? Darksiders Death. It reminds me of this guy. Not a double rag. It's also not one of the ones with like things growing out the back where they go whenever they fire. Yeah. You've never played? Dude, Darksiders 1 and 2 are really good games. I don't know about 3 because I didn't play it. I started playing it and then I guess a WoW expansion or something, and then I just never came back to it. But I really enjoyed the first one. And I really enjoyed the last one. 18-year-old loved how edgy they made death. Yeah. Dude, the first one, you play as fucking War, yeah? You play as this dude. This is a good rendition. Look at the size of his fucking sword. This was a good game, man. This is a really good game. Maybe we could see the Oh, this is nostalgia.
It's there, beneath the stench of this place. You can sense it.
There are things even you should fear, horsemen. Once you
Kratos
were
kills this guy.
strong,
No, he doesn't.
But now, you are weak and you are alone.
I can grant your every wish.
Can you restore the balance?
The destroyer knows of your coming. Even now, he moves his legions against you.
This is not the one I remember.
Helgod, to arms!
Slay him!
Was it really this ugly?
Perhaps we can strike a deal.
You won't like my terms.
It's Illidan that voiced him.
Are you here to play executioner?
There's a lot of this I don't remember. Oh, there's Genesis? 5 years ago. I completely missed this. Is it this one? Oh yeah, this looks a lot more right. Graphics didn't... There's a remaster though.
No, I'm alright.
Killing really overly large things like all the God of War games? Yeah, true. Is this the highest quality? It feels very... Yeah, I guess. This is the one I remember. Fucking demon fighting an angel, yeah? For 80p cinematics, yeah. Oh, this is so cool, man. That sucks. One of the few good God of War clones, yeah. Oh, right. The reason the cut was weird is because you play through. Oh, another giant thing. Oh, bro, the horse. Oh yeah, I remember the gun. That's fucking yeah. I mean, if you like hack and slash games, if you like the old God of Wars, that game is definitely a decent. It's not that it's particularly difficult or anything, right? I think it's okay. The story's pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot. It might be nostalgia talking. I really enjoyed it. I played through the first and the second one, and they're really good. I have the third for PlayStation. I think I have it for the PlayStation. I hope I have it for PlayStation 4. I might have it for fucking No, it must be 4. It's too new. Too new. Fucking should be PlayStation 5, right? It's really good. It's really good. Definitely worth it if you like that type of game. But this is going to be it for me. It is time to end. We didn't really get to play RimWorld. We played a little bit before lunch, and then it was all PoE from there, which is okay. I'm excited for the new PoE thing. It is in 7 days exactly. It's in a week. So next Friday, Blast Blitz. If you have the time, it's free to play for that weekend. I don't know if you saw, but PoE 2 is free to play from Friday, the 29th to Monday the 1st, I think it was. So yeah, it's a decent shout if you wanna give it a go. But yeah, I'm gonna hop off. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good weekend, and I hope I'll see you all Monday. Bye bye, guys.